In this video, I'm going to tell you what I know about reading. So, in one of my last videos, I talked about the habit list, and I had reading as a daily habit. So this is why I think reading is important, and this is what I know about reading. So the first thing I know about reading is there's an idea in the culture that bookworms are nerds. Even the word bookworm has a negative connotation to it. So if you think about the smartest person in movies or in any TV show, like typically they speak with a weird intonation. A lot of times they have like the goofiest haircuts. They dress funny, and socially they are so awkward. It's unimaginably awkward. So if you think of like Sheldon Cooper or his girlfriend Penny, yeah, they're brilliant and they're hysterical and they're fun to watch. But if you believe that getting that intelligent would make you like them in some way, that idea is so repelling. So not many people would want to trade their ability to connect with others, to have a deep level of knowledge. And if you think about like who in our society is cool, so I'm probably gonna date myself, but you know, like as I was growing up, like rock stars were like the coolest people. And you know, what do you know about them? First of all, I'm sure their level of genius is so off the charts in certain ways, but you know, you don't learn anything about what it is or how they nurtured it or how they trusted it. What you learn about them is like the drugs they take. A lot of them, you know, they seem to always be talked about like they had sex addictions. So what you know about rock stars is they play an instrument, they take tons of drugs, and they might have a sex addiction problem. And a lot of them dropped out of school. But that is probably nothing that made them great. And the thing that they have that makes them great and how they used it are always going to remain a mystery. So there's almost a push to make people want to dumb themselves down. So the benefits of not being as smart as you could be outweigh the benefits of not reaching your full potential. And I think it's odd. I think it doesn't make a lot of sense that we would not want to be intelligent as a culture, and especially as an individual. So I would say that the smartest people I know, as I get to know them, they are very educated and they're very warm and they're very kind. In fact, I met this girl at a retreat and she was really cool. When I met her, she was wearing sparkly eyeshadow and she had blonde hair and pigtails. When I saw her the next time, we were talking and I was asking, we were talking about, like what we do for a living. And she was like, "Oh, I'm a scientist." And I couldn't believe that she was a scientist because she looked so like friendly and bubbly and cute when I first met her. And when I think of scientists, like they almost have to be wearing glasses and white coats. So that really did stand out to me as to what I think and why I think it, especially when it revolves around being extremely educated. So my point is that these stereotypes we hold as a culture, and definitely the ones I notice that I hold, are the opposite of the truth. That the entire stereotype of nerds being smart, nerds being bookworms, and really cool, famous, successful people being dumb is totally wrong. And I don't know who benefits from me not being as smart as I'm able to be, or who would benefit from you not being as smart as you're able to be. But I know for a fact that it's not me or you. I think it's very wise to expand your worldview and get as much information as possible so your decision making can be better. And I know for a fact that it will not make you weird and unable to connect. In fact, as far as I can tell, it'll do the exact opposite. Reason number 2 is you actually cannot think about things you haven't been introduced to. Like you think you would be able to, you think you would imagine it. It would, like things are just obvious. You should obviously be able to think about all these things that nobody's ever talked to you about, but that is totally the opposite of what happens. And in fact, your world will consist of like who? Like the people in your neighborhood, your family, your school, the internet, and the TV. So, and this is all you get, right? So you can end up in like echo chambers. You can just stop growing at some point. You can just like know everything there is to know from all the people around you and from the television and from the things you like to look up on the internet. And then it stops and you are who you are for, I guess, the rest of your life. But there's definitely wisdom, right? And your family has it and your friends have it. And I think the internet has it. And I even think the TV might have a little bit, but there's a stopping point because there's not the depth. If you read books, a book is an organized and concentrated effort to go into depth in one subject. Like, even fiction, right? There's the development of settings, there's the development of characters, there's plot development, there's psychology. Nonfiction has, just this depth of very focused and intelligent information. So if you're reading honest, ethical, and brilliant authors, your worldview, your belief system, your way of thinking will become much broader. The scope of what you can think about will become broader. So if it keeps you from being like a cog in a system. It keeps you from being in the feedback loop. It starts to free your mind and inspire you with new ideas. In fact, I was watching, there's a woman, I forgot her name, but she escaped North Korea and she lives in Chicago now. But she was saying that there's no word in North Korea for oppression or trauma. And what that means is that the people there who are being mistreated, they actually have no way to conceptualize their mistreatment. Like, they don't, because I think trauma is almost a comparison of like what should have been or could have been and then what was, and then there's the difference. And the same with oppression, right? There's what can be and what is, and then I guess an imbalance. And then so one group is oppressed. So they don't actually have the ability to feel or know that they have been traumatized or oppressed. And then they operate in pure trauma and oppression as if there's none, because they don't have an ability to conceptualize life in this way. So the second reason is you will be able to think about more if you read. The third thing I know about reading, is what you learn in school, it doesn't give you very many skills. I don't know if you noticed this yet, but school learning is very generic. It teaches you what you need to know, I suppose, like the basics of like reading and math and probably some more stuff, but like you really don't, when you don't have a skill. You're very unskilled if you only went to like high school and even like some college degrees. You're still unskilled. And your self-learning is where the money is. So if you think of every single person who is successful, what they put out, what their content, whether it's like art or philosophy or any sort of teaching, any sort of spiritual stuff, like whatever it is that they're putting out, it's all self-taught. You know, they found their teachers, they found the books, they found what they found, and went through a process of learning things on their own, and now that's what they're putting out. I think very few successful people just went through the standard education system. In fact, I even heard something like most CEOs of companies or owners, people who run companies, most of them read for an hour a day. So I guess that's something else to kind of think about. So reason number 3 is being self-taught is where the money is. I definitely would not be who I am without the books I've read, without, everything I've learned to this point is stuff I've learned on my own, and all of it has added and contributed to the person I am, to making me better than I was. So that's what I know about reading. That's why I feel like reading is important. So to recap, reading is not just for nerds. It definitely helps you be more connected than less connected. You cannot think about things you have not been introduced to, and self-learning is where all the money is. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this inspired some of you to start reading. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.